And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We have a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel. We post all of our shows and clips of the shows on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen and not watch, we're on podcasting apps: Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. However you want to watch or listen, folks, we've got you covered every single way. Just know the name is Takes by Fans, and we're live every day at noon. Alrighty, today is a big old Thursday, so now we can finally start talking about Week 16 in the NFL. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we spent all of our time breaking down what happened in Week 15 so we can understand what we think is going to happen in Week 16. So we guess and react to the actual lines today. We'll go through all the matchups, talk about them, guess what we think the lines will be, and then we'll check a DraftKings to see what the official line is. Do we agree with Vegas? Are we off with Vegas? Who's right? Are we right? Is Vegas right? Last week, we absolutely robbed Vegas with the Dallas Cowboys. We locked it in at Cowboys +3, but we looked on game day, and it rose all the way to Cowboys +4. Easiest bet, and we're going to look for another one this week. So that's what we got on the show. So without further ado, let's start with some stories. Here we go. We covered this a little bit yesterday. The Lions have a little bit of a COVID, not an outbreak, but it's a lot of close contact, high risk, and it's all with the coaches. So we're going to have, the Lions are going to have an interim head coach for the interim head coach. The head coach is now going to be, who is this man? Robert Prince, the wide receivers coach. The offensive play caller is going to be Sean Ryan, the quarterbacks coach. The offensive play caller is going to be Evan Rothstein. He's the head coach, assistant, research, and analysis. Then we got the defensive backs coach. It's going to be Tony Carter, who was a defensive assistant. Then the linebackers coach is going to be David Cairo, and that's the head coach, assistant, also research and analysis. And the defensive line coach is going to be Ty Warren. He's the William Clay Ford minority coaching assistant. I mean, this is what they're working with here in Detroit this week, folks. So stay heavy away from the Lions. They're also on the road this week. They also play on Saturday, so this is just not going to go well. Nothing's aligning here this week for the Lions. Kind of a weird week playing on Saturday, end of the season, coaches out, a lot of coaches shuffling around, so not a good look for the Lions this week, especially facing the Bucs. Trying to secure their playoff spot. Alrighty, Dolphins, they get running back Myles Gaskin. They activated him from the COVID-19 list. This is huge. We saw what the Dolphins running back committee did last week with Salvin Ahmed and Matt Breida, and they absolutely ran wild. So now the Dolphins get their starting running back back. Absolutely fantastic. Alrighty, here it is. We all knew this was coming. Folks. Steelers wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster told reporters yesterday, quote, "For the betterment of myself and my teammates, I am going to stop dancing on the logos." You have to do it. You're giving too much momentum and too much energy to the defensive team while you're actually getting really nothing from it. Okay, you're big on TikTok. I mean, that app will probably be gone in the next year or two. It's going to probably fizzle out just like Vine did. I can't see this one being any more different. So Juju Smith-Schuster is going to stop dancing on the logos. You have to do it. I mean, he was just getting absolutely destroyed on the field. The defense, we saw it. We broke it down yesterday. All the Bengals players, they were conscious of it. They were aware of it. You defend your home turf. Don't disrespect us like that. And they made Juju Smith fumble. They held him to 15 yards. They ended up losing the game. So you've got to stop it. We saw that Mike Tomlin was having the talk with Juju Smith-Schuster 2 days ago, and then we finally get this. We knew this was coming, and it just it had to stop. It had to stop for the betterment of the Steelers. There's too much negative press on them anyway, and this was just adding a ton of unnecessary fuel to the fire. So great decision by Mike Tomlin. Hopefully Juju Smith-Schuster didn't make a big deal out of this and kind of push back on Mike Tomlin, and it was kind of like, yeah, I get it. I was going to stop it anyway after that one. Alrighty, Eagles coach Doug Peterson says Carson Wentz has, quote, been a pro handling benching. Yeah, because you already paid the man. Of course he's going to be all right with that. Getting paid, I get, every player does want to be out on the field. I get it. But he's still getting paid. And I think Carson Wentz knows, hey, he's got a lot of leverage here. He can kind of demand a trade, demand to get out of that contract if he really wants to, because the Eagles are once again looking at the backup as a replacement for Carson Wentz. And this goes back to Nick Foles. I think Jalen Hurts played absolutely fantastic the last 2 weeks. Should he start over Carson Wentz? Definitely for the rest of the season he should. Going into next season, I think he's got a real chance for Jalen Hurts to get the starting spot of the Eagles. It's just Carson Wentz and the Eagles, they just really need to mutually part ways. It will be beneficial for both of these teams, or both of the player and the organization at this point. The fans are all clamoring for the backup. The fans don't respect Carson Wentz. The Eagles really don't even respect Carson Wentz. Eagle really favoring Nick Foles over him. Put a statue of Nick Foles outside of the Eagle Stadium. I mean, this gets into players' heads, folks. So I think for the betterment of Carson Wentz in this Eagles organization, they just need to mutually part ways. I get, Carson Wentz, he doesn't seem like the guy that would go out and actively try and, ruin the Eagles organization by not being kind of a pro as a backup, not helping Jalen Hurts out, still being a part of the team even though he's not starting. I think that's what Carson Wentz is. That's his character. But he wants to start. He knows he wants to start. He feels he could be a starter in this league, and really he should. He could be a starter in this league. Absolutely. It's just this year the turnovers got a little out of control, and they weren't putting up points. So we'll see what happens next season. But I think Carson Wentz needs to leave Philadelphia. Alrighty, and we're going to get vindicated a little bit here with our last two stories. Most rushing yards since 2019. Derrick Henry is number one with 3,200 yards, and then number two is Dalvin Cook with 2,600 yards. So this man has 600 more yards than the second leading running back for the last 2 seasons. We've been known this. We've been calling Derrick Henry the best running back in the league going back to last season before we even started the show. I was saying it to myself every day. Derrick Henry's the best running back in the league. I got to tell somebody, so I started the show just because of that one fact, and finally it pays off 2 years later. So not only is Derrick Henry the leading rusher, he's also number 3 if you were just counting his after contact yards. It's absolutely fantastic. Derrick Henry after the contact, he's putting up 2,500 yards, and that's 3rd in the league since 2019. How crazy is that? So this man, you can't tackle him, you can't bring him down, and if you're going to touch the man, he's still going to pick up a lot more yards after that. So he's fast, he's big, he's strong, he's unstoppable, folks. We've seen him for the last 2 years. There was no kind of step back from last year, which was his best season that he's had so far, to this season, which is now his new kind of best season he's had thus far. So he's the best, folks. He's the best in the league. We see Z taking a step back. We've seen who else was good. Trying to think of some good running backs that was good last year. Just a lot of players taking steps back. I mean, look at the top 4: Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb. I mean, that's the top 3. So Derrick Henry, best rusher in the league, hands down. There is no debate, folks. He is the best in the league. All right, and then the last story we've got here: DeAndre Hopkins rants about practice. Quote, tell those people who say I don't practice to come watch me play the game. We just did that yesterday, folks. This man was the only reason why the Cardinals won the game last week against the Eagles. This man was making absolutely fantastic catches, double coverage, single coverage, beating his cornerback, going up against 2 defenders, catching it, breaking, run after the catch for touchdowns. He was literally doing everything. He had over 145 yards. It was fantastic to watch, and he was doing it, in the first quarter, the second quarter, and the fourth quarter to really close out the game when it was tied 26-26. So yes, DeAndre Hopkins, I absolutely agree. Don't practice. You don't need to practice. We just saw what you did in game. It's absolutely fantastic. He's one of the top 3 wide receivers in the league. I would put Probably Tyreek Hill, then DK Metcalf, then DeAndre Hopkins. But maybe these last couple weeks, I think we moved DeAndre Hopkins to number 2 because DK Metcalf has really kind of been he's been kind of sliding off a little bit. Hasn't really, he was real good that first 7 weeks of the season, real high powered, a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns every single week. But we see, the Seahawks offense starting to struggle a little bit. So I think we put DeAndre Hopkins as number 2 best wide receiver in the league. Tyreek Hill number 1, DeAndre Hopkins number 2. You can make the argument for DeAndre Hopkins number 1. I could agree with it if you bring up some good points. But yeah, that's kind of where we have it. He's definitely top 3, and you can make the case for either 1, 2, or 3. I'll have him at number 2. He's fantastic, folks. Alrighty, let's shift gears a little bit just quickly. The NBA, a lot of games on yesterday. A lot of teams getting their first games out of the way. Not Rockets and Thunder, because that Rockets-Thunder game was postponed because a lot of players on the Rockets team was not even eligible to play. They were struggling to find 8 players to play this game because of the COVID restrictions. So they just had to postpone it. Cavs beat the Hornets, 2 bad teams. Are they going to get any better? Probably not. We'll see how they kind of progress this season, but really 2 kind of bad teams that we're really not going to focus too much on. Then we get Knicks Pacers. Pacers last season, they were good, and then they kind of lost, Sabonis, and he wasn't really in the bubble. He's back, and the Pacers get the win, 121-107 against the Knicks. All right, Magic get the win over the Heat, and this is why I was a little hesitant. I mean, the Heat were 4.5-point underdogs this week or yesterday, and we were very hesitant to take that. We stayed away from the game because we kind of thought, we weren't really sure how much the Heat would really kind of carry over from the bubble to this season, and they lose against the Magic game 1. Now, get the rhythm back, get everything flowing. It's first game. We can kind of excuse it for the Heat, but let's kind of keep a tabs on Heat. Are they as good as they were in the bubble? Or did they just kind of take advantage of the no crowd and the unusual circumstances, kind of like what some NFL teams are doing this season with no crowds? I mean, if Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield, if there's crowds next season, we definitely have to keep big eyes on those 2 quarterbacks because their jumps from last season to this season, it's kind of unprecedented and a little unexplainable. So taking advantage of circumstances, hey, I'm all for it, but that doesn't really mean overall you're a good team when sports kind of resume to what actual sports are, live sports are. So we'll see what the Heat can do this season, but they lose their first matchup 113-107. Alrighty, Wizards. No, Russell Westbrook couldn't get the win in his first game against the 76ers. 76ers get the win 113-107. Russell Westbrook, triple-double, 21 points, 11 rebounds, 15 assists. Classic Russell Westbrook. Let's take a quick look at his turnovers, though. Is he still turning over the ball? More than 3 is probably not very good for him. So let's see what he's got here. Russell Westbrook. Turnovers. And he had 6. He had 6. Oh, my goodness. That's the team high 6. Is it the game high? It's the game high. The second most turnovers was by Ben Simmons. So he's still turning the ball over, and that's why we kind of said the Rockets won the trade a little bit. Nobody's doubting Russell Westbrook's ability to play basketball, but it doesn't translate to wins, and that's why you play the game to win. So we love Russell Westbrook. We love that he gives 1,000% literally on every single play, every second of the game. That's what you want on your squad, but it doesn't translate to wins, and it is truly unfortunate. So 6 turnovers for Russell Westbrook, guys. I don't know what y'all want. Alrighty, Celtics getting a huge win against the Bucks. Jason Tatum being absolutely clutch. Step back 3 to go up by 2 with 0.4 seconds left, and then the refs got in the way and called an awful foul, giving Giannis 2 free throws, but he beefed the second one. He made the first free throw, but the Giannis, who just signed a supermax contract with the Bucks, missed a game-tying free throw to go into overtime. That's who y'all paid your money for? All right. So Celtics get the win. Clutch versus not clutch. MVP last season, getting all the money this season, and still can't hit a game-tying free throw. Yikes. Couldn't be me. Alrighty, moving on. Pelicans get the win against the Raptors. A little surprising there. This Raptors team, not as good without Kawhi. We saw that kind of last season in the bubble. Pascal Siakam had a tough time in their kind of series in the playoffs, and they lose their first matchup here. Pelicans getting the win, 113-99. Bulls, Hawks, Trae Young going absolutely wild, and I love to see that. This man can absolutely ball. He just needed some help on Atlanta, so they get the win here, 124-104, beating the Bulls by 20 points. I mean, Trae Young had 37 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. The man is absolutely great, folks. Spurs get the win, 131-119 over the Grizzlies. Nothing really. I mean, John Morant had 44 points, but he's on the Grizzlies, so he's obviously still not going to be good. We saw that in the bubble last season. The Grizzlies need help for John Morant. We know this man's good. We know that man's good. Timberwolves beat the Pistons. I'm a little disappointed. The Pistons were winning this all game. This was one of our picks from yesterday. We had Pistons +6, and they really just beefed it in the fourth quarter, leading all game. And then in the fourth quarter, they put up 16 points, and I think they got outscored in the fourth quarter like 32-16. So Timberwolves get the win. Pistons flounder in the fourth quarter. Unfortunate, but I do like that aspect of D Rose and Blake Griffin. Let's see what they did very quickly. Blake Griffin, he had 15 points, not bad. 7 rebounds to go along with that. And then, what's his name? Derrick Rose, he's coming off the bench, and that man had 15 points himself. So well done, and 6 assists coming off the bench. So I like this duo going on in Detroit, and I really think they can kind of be a dark horse this season. Look out. Blake Griffin was pretty good last season. I think he did end up getting injured, and Derrick Rose, you know, we all know that MVP year, folks. So keep an eye on the Pistons this season. Nuggets lose close to the Kings, 124-122. We saw the Nuggets go on deep run in the playoffs last season in the bubble, but they get upset by the Kings here at home. Trailblazers lose their first game, not good. I want to see Carmelo Anthony kind of flourish this season like he did in the bubble, but they lose their first matchup against the Jazz, 120-100. And then the last game, Suns beat the Mavericks, 106-102. And Chris Paul, Devin Booker, is this going to be good? Is this actually going to work? Well, they just beat Luka Doncic in, the Mavs company yesterday. So great win by the Suns. Keep an eye on the Suns team. They went 8-0 in the bubble. I didn't think it was really going to kind of translate over to this season, but really wherever Chris Paul goes, that team has instant success. We saw that last year in the bubble when OKC made a huge playoff run. I think they won their first matchup, and then they ended up losing in the second round. So very well done by them last year. Chris Paul, Devin Booker went absolutely wild in the bubble, and now he's teaming up with veteran Chris Paul. Can't lose there. So pretty good start to the NBA season yesterday. Huge slate of games. No games on tonight, so we can't do any money makers. We'll be back at you tomorrow when we talk the Friday games. We'll be back tomorrow with that. All right, so now let's go into our main topic today, which is our guessing and reacting to the Week 16 lines. A lot of games on this week, a lot of games on different days. We got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We've got a solid 4 days of football. It's fantastic. It's the holidays, it's gifting, it's family, it's football, it's food, it's literally everything. So, happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. I'm not going to break them all down. Y'all know which ones y'all celebrate, so take that greeting and do whatever you want with it. So here we go. Let's jump into it in the Friday game, and it's a 4:30 kickoff time, kind of right in the midday. I can get behind that. So we get Vikings and Saints, folks, and we're going to go Saints all day here. Drew Brees looked a lot better than I thought he would last week. Very, challenged the Chiefs, lost by 3. I mean, they really struggled in the first half, really scoring and getting touchdowns and not having to settle for field goals. But they kind of cleaned it up in the second half, so I will give them that. But, yeah, this Vikings team is absolutely not good this season. Kirk Cousins is not getting it done, and because they don't have Stephon Diggs, that's what it is. Stephon Diggs was really why Kirk Cousins had success the last kind of 2 seasons and was able to kind of get to the playoffs because of Stephon Diggs. He's not there anymore, and now Buffalo's in the playoffs. That's not a coincidence, folks, that now the Vikings are not in the playoffs and the Bills are in the playoffs because of Stephon Diggs. So, Vikings, last week they lost to the Bears. Mitch Trubisky didn't really do anything against them, but they could not stop the run. Who do the Saints have? Alvin Kamara. You think you're going to be able to stop him? They couldn't just stop Montgomery. Alvin Kamara is better than him. Sorry. Saints looking good. Receivers are looking good. With or without Michael Thomas, it won't alter this game. Vikings at home, knowing that they were fighting for the playoffs last week, didn't win. So why are they going to go on the road against a even better team who's also trying to get a playoff positioning that's kind of more intense than the Bears are? Bears are just trying to get in, and the Saints are just trying to get that number 1 seed away from the Packers again so they can have home field advantage. So we love the Saints here. It's probably going to be Saints big. We're going to go Saints -6. It honestly could be higher, but we'll call it Saints -6. Kind of a, a primetime game, Christmas Day. Expect it to be a little bit close, maybe a little bit wonky because of the schedule. So we'll keep it a little bit on the lower side because this one really could be probably Saints -8.5, honestly. Vikings, they're bad on offense. They're bad on defense. They can't do anything. They can't close out wins. They can't even do anything when they're gifted. I mean, they were gifted the game last week. Mitch Trubisky throwing an interception in the red zone with 2 minutes left, and the Vikings are only down 3 points. Go down and score the field goal, tie it up, or go win the game, Kirk. They can't do it. Multiple attempts, multiple chances. They turned the ball over in the second half. Cannot trust this Vikings team, so we'll call it Saints -6. Alrighty, here we go. The Saturday games, 3 of them. The first one's at 1 o'clock kickoff. Bucks and Lions. That's kind of what we were saying at the opener. Bucks coaches are all over the place. Now, can we trust this Bucks team? No, we still can't trust Tom Brady. His accuracies is not 100%. I mean, he's overthrowing, he's underthrowing. Yes, he's still making throws during the game, but last week we saw it took until the second half. We can't have that. I mean, this Bucks team is still fighting for their lives in the playoffs, still trying to secure that seed. And, Tom Brady's trying to, put his team on the map. Hey, start talking about us. We've got some talent. So, really can't trust this Bucks team. Can't trust the Lions. I can trust Matt Stafford, but how much of an impact is he going to have on the field when he's the only he's really the only coach. He's really the only consistent coach. He's the field general. But, the play calling, that's different. The defense is going to be a little bit different. It's coming to the end of the season for the Lions. There's no chance they make the playoffs. We're going to call this one Bucks -4.5, and it's going to be tough to take it. Maybe not too tough. We got to trust the weapons, right? We have to trust the weapons here. And the Lions, they're just in a little bit of chaos right here with all that COVID kind of restrictions and moving the coaches around. So interim head coach, how is that going to translate? Probably not very good. And we have to just kind of trust Tom Brady here. So we'll swallow the points. Should we go more than Bucks -4.5? Should we bump it up? We'll bump it up to 6. Let's go Bucks -6. I mean, honestly, folks, you would just have to swallow the points here. You cannot take the Lions with the points here this week. It's just this coaching. Coaching matters a lot in game, folks. Getting your team ready is a whole different thing than actually coaching live in games. That's why the Jets kind of had success early on their first drives because of their scripted plays, and then they flounder for the rest of the game. I mean, there was 2 times where the Jets score, or there was probably more, but 2 just sticking out to me. 2 times that the Jets scored recently in the last 4 weeks. That they scored on their first possession and then got shut out for the rest of the game because Adam Gase cannot coach in game time situations. So yes, you're good on the script. Yes, you're good getting your team kind of prepared for the first drive, but now it's a whole different game. Coaching in game, different game situations. In a one play changes. The rest of the play calling for the rest of the game, folks. So we'll call it Bucks -6, and I think we have to swallow the points. Alrighty, let's move on to 49ers and Cardinals. And Cardinals are looking real good. And 49ers, they're not looking good at all offensively. Nick Mullins is still turning the ball over. This 49ers defense isn't really that good. Yes, they've got Richard Sherman, but he kind of wants out. He doesn't think he's going to be here next season, so he's really not giving it his all. They're officially eliminated from the playoffs. 7-9 is not going to get it done. They know that. This Cardinals team is still kind of secure that last seed, that 7th seed in the playoffs. Maybe even try to get up. I think they could try and get up to the 6th. So better positioning in the playoffs for them. Cardinals at home looking good. I mean, they just went toe-to-toe with the Eagles last week and looked pretty good. Now, I think overall, if you take the grand scheme of the game, the Cardinals probably should have lost the game or should have been a lot closer than it was actually close. It did say 7 points. They did lose by 7, the Eagles, but it was a lot closer. I mean, there was a lot of 2-point conversions. They got a safety. I mean, you add up all those points, and we're talking about like a 3-4-point game, and it was even close. I mean, the Eagles had 2 chances at the end of the game. They had 2 possessions to go down and score a touchdown. They just couldn't get it done. So Cardinals defense is pretty good at home. They can shut down Nick Mullins easily. This Cardinals offense should give the 49ers defense some trouble. Kyler Murray running all over the field. DeAndre Hopkins just being an absolute monster. He's probably going to go up against Richard Sherman, and I don't know if Richard Sherman's going to be able to stop him, folks. DeAndre Hopkins, he's looking real good. We're going to call this one Cardinals -6.5. Try to hit it under that 7 and see what we get. But Arizona at home, looking to secure their playoff destiny this season. Absolutely love them here. I mean, they scored. They just need DeAndre Hopkins to do it, and the man's an absolute monster. So if the 49ers can shut him down, it'll probably be a little bit of a closer game, but probably not with Nick Mullins. This man is really not good, and Josh Rosen is not going to be playing this week, folks. I can guarantee you that. So we'll call this one Cardinals -6.5. Alrighty, and then the last Saturday game kicking off at 8:15. Huge playoff implications. Going to be a great one. Cannot wait for it. Dolphins, Raiders. Raiders at home. Now, this Dolphins defense is fantastic. They'll probably shut down this Raiders offense. We still don't know if Marcus Mariota is going to go or if Derek Carr is going to go. I think they're leaning towards Marcus Mariota, and I do think that's the right choice. But I don't think the Dolphins defense will have any trouble securing either one, defending either one. I mean, they don't let running quarterbacks run all over them. They shut down, Kyler Murray. They shut down Cam Newton. So I don't think Marcus Mariota, who finally got back into the starting lineup of a team last week, is really going to do anything that the Dolphins can't defend. And I don't think Derek Carr is anything special. He turns the ball over a lot, kind of like Carson Wentz, maybe a little bit less than Carson Wentz does, but still kind of up there. He's got to be in top 5 of turnovers, I would assume. So this Raiders offense, they can be explosive, but this Dolphins defense can definitely keep it in check. The Dolphins offense, they're getting healthier, as we said at the top of the show. They get their starting running back, Myles Gaskin. We'll see if Devontae Parker and Mike Gesicki are good to go. That's going to be kind of key as well. But the Dolphins have no trouble running the ball on you if that's what they need to get done. And, Tua, he's a game manager. That's all you want. Huge playoff implications for that kind of last playoff seed. Raiders, if they lose, they're done, basically. If the Dolphins lose, it's going to be tough for them to kind of make that up because the Ravens are right on their toes. So we like the Dolphins here. We're going to call it Dolphins -4.5. It's either going to be Dolphins -3.5 or Dolphins -4.5, and we'll go with Dolphins -4.5 here. I cannot expect this Raiders. I mean, they just lost to the Chargers. I mean, how do you let the Chargers win? And they were blowing it themselves, missing field goals in the fourth quarter, but finally getting it done in overtime. This Dolphins defense, I don't think has any trouble this week, folks. So we'll call this one Dolphins -4.5. Alrighty, now we're getting to Sunday's slate of games. Here we go. Broncos, Chargers. What do we like here? Chargers winning a little bit. They've won 4 of their last 5. Oh, no. Denver's won 4 of their last 5 against the Chargers. So Chargers, I think they strung like 2 wins together, looking good, trying to build that winning culture. Anthony Lynn needs that for him to have a job next season. Justin Herbert's looking great. Nobody's questioning that. But this Chargers team, can we count on them to win the game? Drew Lock, I mean, this man can sling the ball. Nobody's doubting that. This Broncos defense is pretty decent as well. I think this is a close game, and I really think the Broncos could upset the Chargers here because I'm not ready to buy the Chargers as kind of legitimate contenders to like win on a game-by-game basis. I still think at their heart they're like the Atlanta Falcons. They still blow the leads. I don't think they overcame that. We saw that last week. They got lucky that they won 2 missed field goals in the fourth quarter. They let the Raiders go down in the red zone. Luckily, the Chargers defense was able to hold them to a field goal, so Justin Herbert had one last chance at the ball, and he ended up cashing in, but it took them all that time. So I think we like the Broncos here. I don't like the Broncos straight up, but I think we can get 3. I think we can get the Broncos. I think it's going to be Chargers -3 just because they're at home, pretty even teams. And I think I like the Broncos with the points this week. Give me the 3 points. Give me Drew Lock. It's the end of the season. They can't make the playoffs. I mean, Drew Lock can go out and compete against this Chargers team. Absolutely. This Chargers team isn't anything really special, folks. And, when they do get something good, they end up blowing the lead anyway. So it really evens out. So I think I like the Broncos here. If it's 3, if it's 4, if it's anything more than 4, hammer the Broncos plus 5, 6, 7, whatever it is. I don't think it will ever be that high. I think it's going to be Broncos +3, and I still like it. So we'll call this one Chargers -3. Alrighty, Browns and Jets, and no, the Jets are not good, folks. Yes, they had a good game, and it was against the Rams, who historically this season don't put up a lot of points, and the offense is not that great. It's not very versatile. It's kind of easy to figure out. They don't do a lot of things. They do a lot of little things very well. They just don't do a lot of things, and that's why they don't put up a lot of points. That's why they don't kind of really confuse any teams. That's why they couldn't even confuse the Jets defensively, who has an interim kind of defensive coordinator. So the Jets are at home. Browns are looking good. They're trying to kind of finish off the season on a high note, get the best possible positioning in the playoffs that they can. Baker Mayfield's looking very good, not turning the ball over. I mean, last week the Browns faced the Giants, and it was a close game. It was 20-6, but Baker Mayfield looked good. He threw for 300 yards, didn't turn the ball over, and I think he can definitely do that against the Jets here this week. Absolutely, no doubt. So yes, the Jets won last week. They probably don't repeat it. I mean, did you see the outrage on social media when Adam Gase got a win? Oh my goodness. It was like they were going to kill the man because they won a game. It was real bizarre to see. So the Browns here, we like the Browns. We'll call this one Browns -7. Is that too low? Should we go Browns -10? Browns -7. I probably stay away from the game because I'm not going to swallow the points, and I'm not going to trust Adam Gase. I know we should have trusted him last week with 17.5, but it's Adam Gase, and he'll probably go back to floundering. It's against the Browns. They're a better team. Their defense is the Browns defense better than the Rams defense? No, but this Browns defense is actually really good still, and the Rams, I think they just maybe overlooked the Jets. That's definitely a possibility because the Rams have the Seahawks this week, and that's kind of a more kind of concerning matchup for the Rams than the Jets were last week. So we'll call this one Browns -7. Yes, the Jets last week, we're not putting too much weight into that win because we really aren't too big on the Rams. And this Browns team, we are bigger on the Browns than we are on the Rams currently. Baker Mayfield's not turning the ball over. And the running game last week really didn't even get started. I think Nick Chubb had like 50 yards, and that was the leading rusher for the Browns. Usually he's at like 80, and Kareem Hunt's at like 30 to 50 or even more than that. So the Browns weren't even running the ball, and they still were able to beat the Giants last week. If they could run the ball this week and Baker Mayfield's still not turning the ball over, this is going to be a blowout. So we'll call it Browns -7, and it's probably going to be higher than that. Alrighty, Giants and Ravens. Not sure. I'm sure of the win. I think the Ravens win it hands down. But this Giants team, not sure if Daniel Jones or Colt McCoy is going to start. Freddie Kitchens should still be calling plays this week because Jason Garrett, you need 2 weeks to get over COVID for the protocol, so I don't think he's going to be available this week. So that gives me all the reason I need to not even look at the Giants this week. Ravens looking good. They just put up 40 points last week against the Jags. Now, is this Giants defense good? Yeah, they're pretty good. They held the Browns to 20 points. They held the Seahawks to like 15 or 12. I think it was like 12. It was real bizarre. So this Giants defense does have spurts of very good defensive games, but this is the Ravens, folks. They'll exploit you. If you're going to play the run, they'll hit you over the top. Des Bryant finally got going last week. Lamar Jackson threw for over 200 yards. Ravens still battling for that playoff spot. Yes, the Giants are too, but it's basically over for them, unfortunately. You know, Colt McCoy and Daniel Jones not being healthy, the play callers not being there, the offensive coordinator not being there, Giants having to rely on the defense against the Ravens. That's not going to get it done, and this Ravens defense is very good. And all right, let's just say the Giants hold the Ravens to like 18 points. The Giants won't be able to score 19 points on this Ravens defense with Colt McCoy. It's not going to happen. So we like the Ravens here. We're going to go Ravens big, and it's going to be a little disrespectful, but we have to do this. We're going to call it Ravens minus 9.5. I mean, this Giants team, unfortunately, is not good when Daniel Jones is not there. They're borderline good when Daniel Jones is there, and Jason Garrett's calling the plays for them. But after that, you know, that's really all they got. So We'll call this one Ravens minus 9.5, and unfortunately, I liked the Giants. I wanted to see them get into the playoffs by winning the NFC East, but I think it's Washington's game now, unfortunately. Alrighty, then we get Bengals and Texans, and oh boy, Bengals coming off of a huge win against the Steelers, and the Texans once again coming off a frustrating loss against the Colts, fumbling at the 1-yard line. This Texans team, not buying them. I think they played very well the last 2 of the 3 weeks because they were facing the Colts, division opponent, but when they faced the Bears on the road, they got absolutely destroyed. Now they're at home this game against the Bengals. Bengals have a lot of momentum, and I trust this Bengals defense. I think the Bengals defense got really kind of what they needed last week. A good game against a decent offense. I mean, that's still a good offense. They do have pieces, and you do kind of have to defend a lot on that Steelers offense. They just couldn't get it done. So I think we may be liking the Bengals here if we can get some good value. Cannot trust this Texans team anymore. It's unfortunate. Cannot trust the receivers. Kiki Qt's fumbling. They're kind of dwindling at wide receiver. Deshaun Watson's great. We know this, but, you know, the defense of the Texans, they're giving up too much. I mean, yes, J.J. Watt's on the squad, but he's not getting it done, folks, unfortunately. And I think the Bengals, coming off of a huge win, I think they ride the momentum. So if we can get some points, if we can get like Bengals +4, I absolutely love it. We're going to call this one Texans -3 because we're at home. We'll see what Vegas says. Like I'm saying, if we can get Bengals +4, 5, 6, even 7, I don't think it will be that much. I think it will either be around 3 or 4, so we'll call it Texans -3. But if we can get Bengals +4, I think I ride with that. Rising Bengals team, trying to get everything figured out. The defense looked good last week. The offense looked solid. Game manager type of offense. That's what you want. So we'll call this one Texans -3. I think we can get some good value here. Alrighty, Bears and Jags. And Bears, I mean, they're winning games. It's not looking pretty, but that's what we get when Mitch Trubisky's starting quarterback. The wins, they don't look pretty, but they're wins, so we have to give the man a little bit of credit. They're putting up a lot of points, which I absolutely love. When Mitch Trubisky's on the field, they put up 30. When Nick Foles is on the field, they put up like 15. It's a big difference, and I think, you know, the defense definitely feeds off of that offensive momentum. The offense is scoring points, so now that, you know, encourages the defense to go get a stop, and they definitely feed into that. That's what happened to the Bears last season. They kind of quit because the offense was sputtering. Now, the offense at the end of the season is still, you know, right on track, 30 points a game, and the defense is stepping up big time. I mean, Mitch Trubisky last week, you can't trust him. They ran the ball a lot, 32 carries for the running back. I think they stick with that strategy because Mitch Trubisky shot himself in the foot last week. I think it was his last throw of the game. It's an interception in the end zone when he had the chance to ice the game. So now Matt Nagy is once again thinking, I can't trust this man still. How unfortunate. We got to run the ball again. So this is going to be a running game by the Bears, folks. Now, can this Bears defense handle the Jaguars? They should be able to, but the Jaguars just got blown out last week, so they probably play a little bit better this week. They're at home. Bears still playing for the playoffs. Jags playing for the #1 seed, so we'll see if they're tanking. Are they tanking? Doug Marrone, he probably will tank. He seems like the coach that will tank. He's not even good, so it would be kind of hard to differentiate if he's actually tanking or not because he's that bad as a head coach. So we'll call this one Bears -3. They're at home, or they're on the road, but you know, we still can't trust the Jags offense. So we'll see if we got any good value here. Don't want to swallow too many points with the Bears because it's Mitch Trubisky, folks. So we'll call it Bears -3. Alrighty, Falcons and Chiefs, and this Falcons team is going to get absolutely obliterated. This is going to look like the Ravens-Jags game from last week. Ravens just not stopping, putting up 40 points, holding, I think the Jags scored 14. So this is what it's going to be, folks. This Falcons defense cannot stop anything the Chiefs do. Matt Ryan cannot keep up pace outscoring the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are trying to lock up that number 1 seed, which isn't too difficult now that the Steelers have lost the last 2 games. So Chiefs, I think that if the Chiefs win it this week, they're guaranteed the number 1 seed. That's what they're going to be looking for. They're at home. This is big, folks. This one's going to be big. This is going to be Chiefs minus 9.5. It honestly could be all the way up to Chiefs minus 13.5, and I wouldn't blink an eye at it, honestly. We'll call it Chiefs minus 9.5. It's not going to be close, folks. It's not going to be close. It's not going to be remote. I mean, the Chiefs kind of won by 10 points last week against the Saints. If you kind of, look at the drive charts and, when they scored and when the Saints scored, it really kind of garbage time at the end of the fourth quarter. So the Chiefs really won by 10 last week. They'll beat this Falcons team. They'll murder this Falcons team. It's not going to be pretty, folks. There's no way the Chiefs this Falcons team gets within 7 points late in this game. Like, it's a complete blowout from start to finish. If the Falcons cover the spread, it will be a backdoor cover in the fourth quarter because Patrick Mahomes hasn't played the entire fourth quarter. That's the only way the Falcons cover the spread. It's going to get ugly. It's going to get blown out. It's going to make people question Matt Ryan's ability. I think a lot of people will be, calling for Matt Ryan to not be the quarterback of the Falcons after this game. It's going to get bad, folks. Chiefs minus 9.5. All right, Colts and Steelers, and oh boy, a matchup that looked so good, at the beginning of the season, but now is kind of fizzling out because the Steelers' offense cannot get it done. Now, do they finally get it done against this Colts team? No, I don't think so, unfortunately. I don't even know what to call this one. I want to call this one Steelers minus 3, honestly, just because they're at home. Give me the minus 3, and then I think I take the Colts plus the points. So I think we can get some good value. If the Colts are getting 3, I take that all day because Phillip Rivers is playing fantastic. He's not turning the ball over. The running game for the Colts is right on par. Now, the Steelers, they have a better defense than the Colts do, but they're still a little banged up on defense, and it's unfortunate. How is Big Ben going to react? Juju Smith-Schuster not dancing. He can't. Well, he can dance in the middle of the end zone because it's his end zone, so he can still do it this week. It's just when he goes on the road, can't do it on the road. So, oh man, Phillip Rivers, we're going to trust him here this week. We're going to trust I think the Colts win this game. Cannot trust the Steelers anymore. How crazy is that? I was big on the Steelers. I still like the Steelers. I still think they can be a good team. It's just the offense is sputtering right now. The defense is still decent, even with all the injuries and being banged up. It's really just the offense. And right now, I trust Phillip Rivers more than Big Ben, and that's crazy to say because I'm big on harping on and kind of, trashing Phillip Rivers when he deserves it. When he doesn't, he hasn't deserved it for a while, so I give the man credit. We'll call this one. I still think Vegas is going to favor the Steelers here. We'll call this one Steelers minus 1.5, and at that point you don't get any great value with taking the points or swallowing the points. So right at that moment you just got to choose the winner, and right now on Sunday at 1 o'clock the Colts are the better team. We got to go the Colts. That kills me to say that. Kills me. Alrighty, Panthers and Washington, and I think I love Washington this week. We'll kind of see who the quarterback's going to be for Washington. Is Alex Smith ready to go? Dwayne Haskins at the strip club, got fined $40,000, lost the captain tag on him. How crazy is that? They took the man's captain captain status, that's what I want to say. Captain status away from him, unfortunately. Is that going to make him play better? Probably not, because he has a very low ceiling in what he can do offensively. But defensively, Washington's very good. Offensively, Carolina's still pretty good as well. Going to be close. I think we wait. Till Sunday until we know who the starting quarterback for Washington's going to be. If it's Dwayne Haskins, if it's Alex Smith, I think we like it a little bit better. I thought Dwayne Haskins would really kind of play very good last week because, he got benched and this was his chance to kind of redeem himself. But he didn't do that, unfortunately, and I'm not going to sit around waiting for Dwayne Haskins to get better because I've seen a lot of Dwayne Haskins. I can't tell you one thing I like about the man, honestly. I don't like Alex Smith either, but he shows me he can do a little bit more than Dwayne Haskins can. Dwayne Haskins turns the ball over a lot, and we can't be having that. So this one's going to be interesting. We're going to call this one Washington -3. And honestly, I think we switch to the points because this Panthers offense is sneaky good, folks. They always stay in the game and they never quit, and they go on long drives and they eat up a lot of clock and they really convert on third down. It would not surprise me if I could find the stat that the Panthers are the best team converting third down. They've got the best conversion rate. That would not surprise me, folks. I see it on kind of a weekly basis. So this one's going to be close. Washington's defense is so freaking good, though. We'll call it Washington -3, and then we'll kind of go with what Vegas says. If we can get, Panthers +5 or 6, now we're talking. But I don't think it's going to be opening up that big. Alrighty, let's keep going on. 4 more games left this week to cover. Rams, Seahawks, and oh boy, huge game. This is for the first place in the NFC West. This kind of decides if you're, the 4 seed or the 5 seed or 6 seed. This win is huge. This game is absolutely huge for both these squads. So if Seahawks win, they get the NFC, they win it out. They don't have to even play next week. If the Rams win it, it makes week 17 a whole lot more interesting for that division. So, Rams coming off of an embarrassing loss against the Jets. You gave the team their first win of the season. The offense wasn't looking good, and the defense gave the Jets 23 points. Crazy. Now, the Seahawks offense has been struggling the past couple weeks. They're not putting up a lot of points, and Russell Wilson, he's still throwing interceptions. It was in the first quarter, I think, against the Jets 2 weeks ago. It was in the fourth quarter last week. Who'd they face? Washington. So, he's still turning the ball over at bad times. Beginning of the game, you're giving, all that early momentum to the opposing team. At the fourth quarter, you don't have too many opportunities to kind of make up for that interception. So he's still turning the ball over, which we cannot have. The offense is sputtering. They're not putting up the points. They're not going to DK Metcalf. Now they just got Josh Gordon activated. He should be good to go this game. We'll see. But Rams cannot trust their offense. I mean, this is not a dynamic, explosive Rams offense where the Seahawks offense, they can be dynamic and explosive. Now, they haven't shown it for the last couple weeks, but we still like them. We like the Seahawks defense as well. I think Jamal Adams, he's getting familiar with the defense at the right time. He's making a huge impact. He's the sack leader for defensive backs. He set a record this season for most sacks by a defensive back in a single season. I think he's up to like 9 now, which is absolutely insane for a safety to have 9 sacks. So I think I love the Seahawks here. I don't care. It's a division game. I think the Rams. Now the green flag for the Rams is that they just got embarrassed last week. So when you get embarrassed, the week previous, expect them to step it up this week. So expect the Rams to have kind of a better outing than they did last week. But I still think the Seahawks defense, the struggling Rams offense that doesn't put up a lot of points. This is kind of a 4 o'clock game, late window game. This should be televised. Is this one going to be on TV? They're both on Fox. Not sure which one's going to be the nationally televised game, whether it's the Eagles and Cowboys or if it's going to be Seattle and Seahawks, or it's probably Rams and Seahawks. It's got to be Rams and Seahawks. It's got to be. So, all that being said, I think I like the Seahawks. We're going to call this one Seahawks -4.5. Just the Seahawks offense sputtering the last couple weeks. That's my biggest reservation on taking the Seahawks this week. But, overall in the grand scheme of things, I know that the Seahawks can put up points, and I know that they can score a lot. With the Rams, I know they can't. I know they're not going to score more than like 28 points on any given game. They're right around the 24 mark. That's kind of what they average. That's what they do. Cannot trust them, even on the road, too. Not going to trust it. We'll take Seahawks -4.5. Alrighty, Eagles and Cowboys, and I absolutely love the Eagles, and how well, or not really how well, but the fact that the Cowboys won last week, I think Vegas is going to maybe not put too much stake, but they know the public will put a lot of stake in Cowboys winning last week. It was just all their defense, folks. If they didn't get those 2 turnovers early in the first half, they probably don't win that game. The offense for this Cowboys team is not good, and this Eagles defense is so freaking good. We can get some great value here. I'm going to call this one Cowboys -3 because I'm hoping Vegas is sleeping on this Eagles team. This Eagles team is so good, folks. Don't get bogged down that they lost by 7 last week against the Cardinals. They really didn't. They really should have lost by 3. because they missed so much, they missed the extra point. They took the safety. They went for the 2-point conversion because they didn't have their place kicker holder. They had the tight end holding the ball, and that's why they missed the extra point, and that's why they didn't kick any field goals or do the extra points. Now, if the Eagles, they didn't take the safety early in the first quarter, if they made the extra points, if they made the field goals, then this is kind of a 3-point deficit for the Eagles, and we know that they had 2 opportunities to kind of score points in the fourth quarter. It's just they were down 7 and didn't trust the kicker at that time of the game. So this was a more competitive game. That's kind of why we wanted to break it down a little bit in this week to really show that the Eagles are kind of really good. So love the Eagles. If we can get 3, I love it, love it, love it. It will be the best bet of the week. Eagles +3. They win this game outright, folks. They're going to win this game outright. They're going to beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys are not good. Zeke thinks he's going to play this week. That's going to hurt the Cowboys even more if he plays. So love the Eagles here. If they get any points, you hammer it, you hammer it, you hammer it. You bet everything you have on it. Alrighty, Titans and Packers, and oh boy, this is going to be a great game. Oh, the late game? Oh, Titans, Packers, absolutely fantastic. We have to call this, we just have to call this one Packers -3 just because they're at home. That's it. That's the only reason why the spread's like that is because the Packers are at home. Home teams always get -3. That's what it is. So, Packers being at home, these are 2 even teams. Now, they both have their own red flags. Titans' biggest red flag is that they kind of not always show up in the first half of games. Packers' red flag is they get bored, they get lazy, and they'll have a great quarter, but then they just trail off. We saw it last week against the Panthers. They just couldn't do anything. They put up 3 points in the second half. So huge. I think I love the Titans here, folks. I think the Packers are going to get kind of a little bit of shock. That's why we dropped the Packers a lot in our power rankings this week. They were 3 coming into this week, and we just dropped them all the way down to 6, even though they won last week. I'm a little over this Packers team stuttering on offense when you have a great play caller in Matt LaFleur, a surgeon of a passer in Aaron Rodgers, a great running back in Aaron Jones. You've got Devontae Adams. You've got the pieces, and the offense still sputters. So I love this Titans offense, the run, Derrick Henry, the pass, Ryan Tannehill, the fantastic receivers, and this Titans defense is getting better every single week. Love the Titans here. Once again, if you get the points, if we're getting Titans +3, I'll take those points as well. And then that brings us to the Monday night game. We're not going to spend too much time on it because we will talk about this game on Monday. It's Bills-Patriots. Patriots at home. This is going to be the Bills all day, folks. Let's not kid ourselves. This Patriots offense cannot do anything. The Bills defense is pretty good. Josh Allen is looking fantastic. Now, Bill Belichick, how well is his defense going to be against Josh Allen? I think Josh Allen can tear it apart. He can pick it apart. He's picked apart every other defense this season, whether it was Seattle's defense, who else they faced this season. The Dolphins defense, they did pretty good, but that was kind of earlier in the season. They're kind of back half of the season. Who have the Bills faced? They just kind of won last week. Trying to think of some good defenses the Bills have kind of faced this season. Can't think of any 2 good defenses. But, Stephon Diggs is going to get open. It's Stephon Gilmore for the Patriots. So who's going to guard Stephon Diggs? Your second best corner? Good luck with that. He's tearing apart everybody. So we got to go big here. We got to go Bills -10 even on the road. It's just the Patriots offense isn't going to do anything, and this Bills offense will destroy the Patriots defense. No Stephon Gilmore. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Stephon Diggs is going to be running wild, and Josh Allen's playing fantastic football right now. So Bills -10. Alrighty, now that we've got all of the lines predicted, let's see what they actually are. Let's update DraftKings. This is our official odds provider. We think they've got the most fair odds. They've got the best website, the best interface. Love it, love it, love it. So we use DraftKings. Alrighty, so here we go. We'll start here. We're back on, or no, we got to go to NFL. Here we go. Here we go. We're back at the tomorrow's game, Friday game, 4:30 kickoff, Saints, Vikings. We predicted the game at Saints -6 and it's Saints -7. So right in the same ballpark. We understand it. We know where Vegas is coming from. This Vikings offense is not good. The Saints also want revenge for the miracle game that Stephon Diggs won in the playoffs, a couple seasons ago. So the Saints are going to want revenge for that. They want to keep pacing on the number 2 seed, try to get to that number 1 seed. I mean, the Packers can lose this week. week, folks, against the Titans 100%. So the Vikings or the Saints know that there's still a possibility that they can get the number 1 seed. So we love the Saints here. -7, we'll swallow the 7. That's fine. Vikings +7, I wouldn't take it. If you don't like Saints -7, I'd stay away from it. I do not take the points here. I think the Saints win big. I think it's a blowout. I don't think it's competitive in the slightest. The Saints defense against Kirk Cousins, it's going to be a nightmare for them. So Saints -7, it's big, folks. It's going to be a big win. We'll swallow the 7. Alrighty, now let's go to these Saturday games. 3 Saturday games. Bucks Lions is the first one. We predicted the line at Bucks -6, and it's a lot more than we thought, and we understand it. Bucks -9.5. We get it. We understand it. Detroit, it's just their coaches. Coaching matters. Coaches matter. This Lions team isn't that good to begin with. This Buccaneers team now, are they that good? Are they good offensively? No, they're very hit and miss. They're very up and down. They're very rocky. So, the 9.5 is a lot to swallow, even though the Detroit Lions don't have a lot of coaches. It's still Matt Stafford on the field, and this man keeps the game close. Do not, 1 point, 1 score kind of spreads you can swallow against the Lions, but, they usually don't lose by more than 2 possessions, or really more than 1 possession. So, it's tight. It is tight. I think I stay away from it. I'm not too comfortable yet trusting Tom Brady with 9.5 points. This would be the game to do it against if you wanted to swallow some points here because the Lions coaching staff is really jumbled. But not ready to trust Tom Brady. I think I stay away from it, but I can see taking Bucks -9.5. Alrighty, then we go to 49ers and Cardinals. We predicted the game at Cardinals -6.5, and it's Cardinals -5.5. So a little bit under than what we thought, but still right in the same ballpark. So Cardinals -5.5, absolutely fantastic. I don't think this 49ers offense is going to kind of do what the Eagles offense did last week and kind of keep pace. This Cardinals defense is pretty good. Nick Mullins, I don't think is going to have any chance at really stopping this Cardinals defense. Is the Cowboys defense better than the Cardinals defense? I would say it's really kind of the same. I would maybe give a slight edge to the Cardinals defense. I love Budda Baker. They're doing great things over there. They're also at home. Once again, this Cardinals defense is very good at home. And this Cardinals offense, folks, who's going to stop DeAndre Hopkins? I don't think it's going to be Richard Sherman. So we'll swallow the 5. Not going to trust Nick Mullins with 5 points. Cannot trust the man. Cannot trust the man. Cardinals still playing for that playoff spot. I think this is kind of a bigger win too. 10-point win for the Cardinals. We'll swallow the 5.5. I think I like it. Then that brings us to the last Saturday game, Dolphins-Raiders. We predicted the game at Dolphins -4.5, and it's Dolphins -3. Once again, a little bit under than what we're thinking, and we love it. We love the Dolphins -4.5. We'll love the Dolphins -3. I don't think this Raiders offense, either with Marcus Mariota or Derek Carr, can really do anything against the Dolphins defense. The Dolphins can, keep pocket passers and deep arm throwers to not a lot of points. We saw it with Jared Goff. We saw it with Justin Herbert. We don't let pocket passers destroy us. And then the Dolphins also do not let dual threat quarterbacks run all over them. We saw it against the Chiefs. We held Patrick Mahomes to not a lot of yards on the ground. We held Cam Newton to not a lot of yards on the ground. We held Kyler Murray to not a lot of yards on the ground. So either way, I think the Dolphins are covered this week. Now it's their offense. How many points are they going to put up? Are they going to be able to move the ball consistently? I say yes. I mean, last week was huge for the Dolphins. Huge momentum win. Huge just the offense buying in. Hey, we can win. We can actually go good against a good defense with all of our pieces. That gives them a lot of credit. Tua's a game manager. That's all you want. Derek Carr turns the ball over too much. Marcus Mariota had 1 start this season. He looked good, don't get me wrong, but are we going to base it off of 1 start? We'll see what he does on start number 2 if that is the case this week. We like the Dolphins -3. We'll swallow the 3. Alrighty, now let's move on to the Sunday games. Here we go. Cleveland and the Jets. We predicted this game at Browns -7, and it's Browns -9.5, a little bit larger than we thought, but that we understood that. I think we also called that it could be a little bit bigger than we thought, and that's fine. I don't think the Jets have a repeat performance from last week. Now, they may keep the game close. I think I'd stay away from this game because now the Jets have a little bit momentum. They already don't have the number 1 seed. We'll see kind of how they handle that situation here. The Browns, they should be good. They win the game. They probably win by at least 7. I mean, last week they won 20-6. That's 14. I would expect probably the similar result here. Probably the Browns aren't piling on the points, but they're not letting the Jets score all over them either like they did last week on the Rams. Now, also, the Jets struggled to score in the second half. I don't think they put up a lot of points. Let me double check this. I think, let me see if I can get back to this game. Was it a 1 o'clock game? No, it was. Yeah. All right. So the Jets in the second half, I mean, they put up 10 in the third quarter, but nothing in the fourth quarter. So that speaks a lot of volumes as well. We know the Jets are good in the their first drive. That's why they had 7. 2 field goals in the second quarter, touchdown field goal in the third quarter, nothing in the fourth quarter. So it's not like this Jets offense was, putting up points every quarter and looking good and, cashing in touchdowns and not settling for field goals. So this Jets offense isn't anything great, but I think they could still keep the game close. It's against the Browns. Browns offense is very good. I think, man, do we swallow the 9? We'll come back at you tomorrow with our official picks, but kind of first glance, I think we swallow the 9 for the Browns here. I would expect the running game for the Browns to get going again this week and for Baker Mayfield just to be game manager. So they won by 14 against the Giants last week. I don't think the Jets are any better than the Giants. So I think the Browns can definitely do that. I think they can definitely keep it or win by 14 like they did last week. And I think we'll swallow the points here. Alrighty, Atlanta and the Chiefs. We predicted this game at Chiefs minus 9.5, and it's Chiefs minus 10.5. We know this. This is going to be an absolutely blowout. I would buy this one all the way up to. Let's see what we get here. Actually, game lines. Let's go to some alternate game lines. What are we comfortable of buying the Chiefs up to? As I said, 13.5. You get plus 125. Decent odds there. Let's go all the way up to 20.5. Let's see what that is. Plus 280. Holy cow, this is good. I like this. Chiefs minus 20.5. Give me this. $500 on that. You profit $1,400 and you're walking away with $1,900. I think I endorse that. Chiefs minus 20.5. Get it under that 21-point hook. I don't think this game is competitive at all, folks. I told y'all when we guessed the lines, this is going to be an absolute blowout. The Falcons will not put up more than 10 points, and this Chiefs team has the opportunity to go and put up 40 like the Ravens did last week. This is gonna be similar to that game, folks. It's gonna be a wild blowout. I'll take Chiefs minus 20.5. Chiefs minus 20.5, folks. Screw the 10.5. Screw the regular spread. This is not a close game. Whatever you do not take the Falcons plus 10. I'll tell you that right off the rip. Do not take that. Take the Chiefs minus 10.5 or stay away from the game. Do not trust the Falcons with 10.5 points on the road against a Chiefs team that's trying to lock up #1 seed, against this Falcons team with Matt Ryan who cannot consistently put a good 4 quarters of play together in a single game. We stay away from the Falcons here. Chiefs. Big, folks. All right, let's move on to Bears-Jags. We predicted this line at Bears minus 3, and it's going to be Bears minus 7.5. And do you trust Mitch Trubisky with 7.5 points? Because I don't. Not even against this Jacksonville team. This Jacksonville team's at home. They're kind of fighting for a little bit of pride. This Bears team, I'm not trusting them with 7.5 points. I stay away from this game because I'm not trusting the Jags with 7 points either, and I'm not trusting Mitch Trubisky to win by 7.5. 2 scores? Are you kidding me? They can barely win by 1 score. They can barely win at all. So stay away from this game. This Bears minus 7.5. That's not good value at all. Are you kidding me? I don't care that they're facing the Jaguars and the Jaguars are not good. Mitch Trubisky turns the ball over. He threw the ball 21 times and he still figured and managed to get an interception in there at the worst possible time in the red zone when you're trying to ice a game when you already have a lead. It was trash. When nothing was open, throw the ball away. A good veteran quarterback throws that ball away and settles for the field goal. I don't know why he was trying to force it into the end zone anyway. I completely stay away from this game. You get no good value. These are 2 trash teams. Stay away from it. Heavy. Alrighty, Giants and Ravens. Here we go. We predicted this line at Ravens minus 9.5. And it's Ravens minus 10.5, so 1 point more than we thought, and that's fine as well. I think this Ravens team blows out the Giants as well. Chiefs blow out the Falcons. Ravens blow out the Giants. Let's see what we can buy this one up to. Now I think I go all the way up to Ravens minus 27.5 because I think they win by 4 touchdowns. Let's see if we can buy it all the way up to that. The most we can do is Ravens minus 23.5, and I'll take that. Under that 24 hook, 3 touchdowns and a field goal? Absolutely. Yes, this Giants defense is decent. It's a decent defense, but it's Colt McCoy in the offense. They're not going to put up any points. They'll probably turn the ball over and give the Ravens a lot of short fields. Ravens are still competing for that playoff spot. They're not in the playoffs yet, folks. How crazy is that? So, Ravens minus 23.5 is plus 400. You bet 500. You're walking away with $2,000 profit. That's the stimulus check. Do you want 2 stimulus checks? We'll take the 500 of the 2,000 that you'll get in your original stimulus check and get another stimulus check on top of that with the Ravens minus 23.5 here. Love it. Alrighty, let's keep moving on here. Next matchup here is Colts and Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm very interested to see what this line is. We predicted it at Steelers minus 1.5, and it's Colts minus 1.5. Alrighty. I can get behind that. I think I take the Colts to win this game. I'm big on the Steelers. I still like the Steelers, but what the Colts are doing these last couple weeks is fantastic. They're kind of winning a little bit of closer games in the grand scheme of things. If you take everything into account, the games are a little close. They're not turning the ball over. Fantastic. The defense isn't anything great. Now, this running game for the Colts is fantastic, and that's why Phillip Rivers is having so much success. Now, when is this Pittsburgh Steelers offense going to get back on track? Because they will get back on track. I mean, this is Big Ben, 2-time Super Bowl winner. He knows what it takes. Mike Tomlin knows what it takes. They have the weapons. Chase Claypool, James Washington, Juju Smith-Schuster. Now, they need the running game to get back on track, but that's because of COVID and some injuries. So let's all take a breath there. It's going to get back on track, whether it's this week or next week. When will it? That's the key question. We'll take the Colts here, I think, this week, though. We'll give the Steelers one more week to breathe. Try to get it going in week 17. We'll see. But, yeah, it's close. It's close. Really wish we were getting, Colts plus 3. Didn't think it was going to be that anyway. Was just kind of hoping. Unfortunate. Going to be a close game. I'm going to have to wrestle with this one. We'll come at you tomorrow with our official pick. This game probably will be in there. And I'm still kind of deciding. I love the Steelers, folks. I'm sorry. I'm a sucker for the Steelers this season. All right, let's keep on going here. Bengals, Texans. We predicted this line at Texans minus 3. And it's going to be Texans minus 7.5. And, folks, I love Bengals plus 7. Yes. This Texans team isn't good. They're fumbling on the 1-yard line. There's no kind of accountability. Nobody's holding them accountable for turning the ball over. Kiki Cutie. I mean, they're dwindling at wide receiver. The defense is not that good. Bengals trending up after last week. A lot of momentum. They're trying to establish a winning culture in Cincinnati, not try to get a good draft pick. So, expect the Bengals to kind of compete these last 2 weeks. This is a new head coach offense trying to implement a winning culture just like Brian Flores did last season, and you see the success that he's having this season because of what he did last season. Bengals kind of closing out. I mean, the Dolphins kind of closed out the end of the last season, winning like 4 of their last 5 games. Bengals had the opportunity to kind of do that this season. I'll take the 7.5 all day. They may not win, but we get 7.5 points. The offense looked decent. The defense looked good. I liked the defense that they showed last week. And we get, over the 7 bump. I'll take that. 7.5. I think I like that. This is going to be a pick tomorrow. I'll tell you right now, it may not be in our locks, but it will definitely be in our 99% guarantee nonetheless. Bengals plus 7. I'm loving it already, folks. Holy cow. And I haven't even had a chance to sleep on these lines. So I'm sure I'll love it even more tomorrow. Bengals plus 7. Yes, sir. Please, sir. Yes, more. Alrighty, let's see if we can get another good one here. Let's go Broncos Chargers. We predicted this game at Chargers minus 3, and it's Chargers minus 3, right on target. Real similar teams, and I like the Broncos plus the points here. I'm not ready to say that the Chargers are free of their kind of blown lead curse. Not ready to say that yet. I do like Justin Herbert. He's the rookie of the year, absolutely. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Player of the Year. You can make the argument. Not Player of the Year, but you get what I'm saying. This Chargers quarterback is good, but they still don't win games on a consistent basis. Drew Lock, he's been struggling heavily the last couple of weeks, so I like to see him get back on track here. End of the season, really nothing to lose, so go out there and sling it around. Broncos, I'll take the 3 here, folks. It's going to be a close game because it's the Chargers, so it's naturally close. They'll find a way to beef it. Drew Lock takes advantage, and I think I like the Broncos +3 here this week. Alrighty, Carolina and Washington, and we predicted this line once again at Washington -3, and it's Washington -2.5. So real tough now. Now you're not really getting any good value with Carolina with the +3. Washington, wait till Sunday on this game, folks. Wait until we know who's starting quarterback for Washington. Dwayne Haskins, he just lost his captain status. Maybe you know the team is kind of down on him now, and he has to kind of go out and perform even better and get even better than what he already is, because he's not good enough where he can kind of go out at the strip club and be maskless and kind of lose the respect of his peers and lose his captain status and kind of elevate his play. I don't see that happening. So I think if Dwayne Haskins is playing, we'll take Panthers +2.5. If Alex Smith is playing, we like Washington -2.5. But I don't think we know that quite yet. We don't know the health of Alex Smith just quite yet. We'll probably know more tomorrow, so we'll come at you live on the show with that information. But yeah, you got to wait for this one, folks. You got to wait for it. If we had to take it right now we have to take it. Ooh, it's tough. If we had to take it right now, right this second, we're taking Panthers +2.5. I like the Washington defense, but I think I like the Panthers offense a little bit more. Matt Rule trying to establish a winning culture at the end of the season. Oh, man, this Washington defense is real good, though, folks. It's tough. Wait till Sunday. Just wait till Sunday to bet the game. I don't know what you want from me. Alrighty. Last 4 games. Here we go. Eagles, Cowboys, and I think we can get some great value if the Eagles are getting any type of points. You hammer it. I already told y'all. We predicted this one at Cowboys -3, and it is Eagles -2. No, Vegas knows. All right, we're not duping Vegas this week. Do not take the Cowboys +2. They're atrocious. We love we'll still swallow the Eagles -2. That's fine. We're hoping we could get some good value here with the Eagles +3. Just the optics of how the Cowboys played last week. They didn't look good. They didn't play good, but the optics, they won and they put up points. That's what the public sees. They don't see that they're actually not a good team. And if they didn't have the 2 turnovers early in the first quarter, they don't even win that game. So love the Eagles here. They're the better team. They've got the better coach. They've got the better quarterback. They've got the better running game. They've got the better No. Okay, Cowboys have the better receivers, but everything else, Eagles better defense, better coach, better quarterback, better running back, better line, better everything besides receivers. And, it's not going to matter because Andy Dalton can't deliver a ball to anybody, folks. He could not deliver a ball to a stork. He cannot do anything. So Eagles here all day, all day, all day. I think they still have a very slim chance of winning the division. They definitely need to win out, and they do need Washington to lose to Carolina, which they definitely could do. So Eagles win. They win big. Cowboys non-competitive. Mike McCarthy's the coach. He's still trash as a coach. Zeke, if he plays, they lose by 20 instead of 17. So Eagles, love them. Alrighty, Rams, Seahawks. We predicted this game at Seahawks -4.5, and it's wow. Seahawks -1. Alrighty. Vegas, I think, is trying to trap some players. This could be a trap bet, but we'll take the trap. We'll take the bait. No worries. Yes, this Rams team just lost to the Jets, so the optics are not good on the Rams. So you think you're getting great value here with the Seahawks only swallowing 1 point, and I agree. The Seahawks defense is good, and they're getting better every single week. This Rams defense is still very solid. Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, fantastic. Nobody's questioning that. But I think the Seahawks, their only problem is just the offense. They just need to get their offense going. And once it's going, it's hard to stop. this Rams offense, it's not that good of an offense, folks. Can we all relax on it? Jared Goff is a little limited in what he can do. Sean McVay is a good play caller, but he doesn't do a lot of interesting gadget plays. It's a lot of just, you have to go and make the throw. That's what it is. Just go make the throw. Why can't you make the throw? You're not making the throw. We're losing. Oh, you're making the throw. We have 24 points. That's really what this Rams offense is. Now, with the Seahawks, they got a little bit of mobility with Russell Wilson. They've got 3 great wide receivers who can go, over the middle, over the top, doesn't matter. Screens, everything. They can do it all. Rams are a little bit limited in this category. Seahawks are getting better every week, getting their kind of running backs healthy. Rams running back game is kind of getting better every single week. I like that Cam Akers, the rookie for the Rams. He's looking good. Henderson's looking good for the Rams as well. The Rams just got embarrassed last week. Expect them to step it up, but this is for the division, folks. Seahawks at home. Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll. They've been here plenty of times. They know the situations, the pressure-filled situations, and Russell Wilson really doesn't flounder in those situations. So yes, this could be a trap bet, but we'll take the bait. We'll take the trap. I'll swallow the one. Seahawks all day. They're the better team in my opinion. Not even looking at last week, I still like the Seahawks better than the Rams anyway. Alrighty, Titans Colts. This is kind of our last chance to get some great value with some Titans with some points here. We predicted this game at Packers -3. It's Packers -3.5, even better. Vegas thinks that the Packers are the better team on a neutral field by half a point. I don't agree. On neutral field. I think it should be like Packers -2. I think I think the Titans are better on a neutral field, honestly. So yes sir. The 3.5. You get over that 3 bump. Absolutely fantastic. Titans, they're good, folks. The only one red flag you have to worry about is them getting going in the first half. But even if that happens, the Packers, they flounder, in different ways too. They'll flounder having, a good first quarter and then being garbage the rest of the game. They'll flounder after putting up 24 points in the first half and then 3 for the rest of the game. So they still flounder themselves as well. So yes, give me the 3. I think Derrick Henry's going to run all over them. I think this Titans defense is going to hold Aaron Rodgers in check a little bit. I think it's a close game overall, and I'll take the 3.5. If the game's 3 points, you get the half, you cover. Perfect. That's what we love to see. Get us over the 3 hook naturally. Titans all day. They could win it outright. I like the Titans plus 3.5 here. And then quickly, Bills Patriots. We predicted the line at Bills -10, and it's Bills -7. A little bit lower than we thought, but do we understand it? Not really. This Patriots defense, Stephon Diggs, I'm telling you, is going to run wild. There's nobody to cover him anymore. It's Stephon Gilmore or nobody, and Stephon Gilmore is gone now. So Patriots offense can't do anything. Bills defense is still good. Josh Allen's not turning the ball over. Cam Newton can't throw a touchdown to save his career. And the Bills, Stephon Diggs is running wild all over the place. So Bills -7, yes, they win by more than 7. They win by probably 13, maybe even 14. I could see it. So Bills -7, we'll swallow it. Fantastic. Alrighty, that is going to do it for us today. Thanks for coming out and kind of our special timed episode. Had to do it a little bit earlier because of the holidays. Had to squeeze it in today still. So we'll get it out to you. We're going to upload it on the podcast. We're all good. We will be back tomorrow on Christmas. We'll have our Christmas show, noon Eastern. We'll talk picks. We're doing picks. We're sleeping on the lines today. Hopefully Santa can kind of help us out a little bit on the lines. I expect to talk to him today. So if you have any questions for Santa, tweet me and I'll ask him as he's coming down my chimney tonight. So yeah, that's what we got. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow, noon Eastern, live, twitch.tv/takesbyfans. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. Alrighty, see you tomorrow.